First up on the show is Ram De Pena, an expert martial artist with a master's degree in accounting and the owner of Studio Martial Arts here in San Antonio. You guys have a YouTube channel, and you're active on your Facebook page as well. So, Ram, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you. It's great to be here.
I was going over your Facebook page, and you've got videos and stuff like that of stuff that's going on, different trainings and stuff that you're doing in your studio. So that's really, really cool because people want to know, what am I going to see when I go there?
Right.
And Facebook and YouTube, of course, but Facebook is, more of the immediate connection, but people enjoy going there. So good job on doing that.
Oh, thanks.
Are you doing the videos and stuff yourself? Or
Yeah. What I try to do is I get a whole bunch, really, because we do so much in a day. I'm there for 4.5 hours doing classes a day. So what we do is we just film a whole bunch while they're doing different drills, and then I can sparse them out. I try not to put everything out in one day.
Sure.
I see a lot of martial arts schools, they put like 20 videos back to back in one day, and I'm thinking, okay, well, that's a lot. So maybe I should do like one good thing, and space it out. But yeah, it's really a blast. I mean, and lately, we implemented a couple of things this last month because we had a Golden Gloves boxer come in. He taught us some really cool things, and we implemented those, and their punch game went up so well. The kids, man, it's so great to see. And so we recently I put up a video of a black belt test. We had a 10-year-old and another 10-year-old. One of them was a green belt. One of them was testing for his black. That green belt came out swinging for the fences. And the one that was testing for his black belt, complete control, blocked everything, moved out of the way, touch, not a hard hit, touch. And the other one was just swinging for him. And I was like, that's how you show the progress.
Right. That's so much maturity in that, too.
Right. And it was so much fun to watch. Everybody was going nuts. It was great. But it's on the Facebook page. You'll be able to see it up there.
So why did you get involved with, you've been doing martial arts for a long time.
Yeah.
So give me a quick overview of your background there, why you're so drawn to it.
Oh, well, I've always loved martial arts. I did it when I was a kid, but it didn't really amount to very much when I was younger. I grew up in Laredo, so it was karate, right? You got the basic karate. And then when I went to college, I was in really good shape. I was very disciplined, but I got in a scuffle, and I realized there was a lot more I needed to learn. And so that's what put me on my path. And I remember when I started in May 1st, 2008, I said that I would do this for the rest of my life, and I've been able to make a good business out of it. So it turned out pretty good.
So you started out doing martial arts as, a kid, and then you got more into it in college as an actual sport that you were participating in.
Yeah.
And then you're getting your accounting degree.
Oh, yeah.
So how did it go from this sport that you're doing during school and then into an actual business?
Well, I remember that this is something I fell in love with. I really love it when it clicks. I'm sure you understand, when it clicks in a person's mind, oh, there we go. And it makes sense. Doesn't it give you like a really good satisfaction? Oh, yeah. That's kind of how it felt with me with teaching. And I really fell in love with it. And I wanted to start my own school. And I wanted to make it profitable, mainly because I had a lot of people telling me I couldn't do it. And so I'm not very good with control or opinions that go against my own in that way. So I decided to do it. And I went forward full tilt, and every step of the way got a little better. And then finally 10 years, we got a good school. We got, a profitable school, which is nice, and a good house and good family, and everything's good.
Well, if you could go back to the beginning and change something on how you did business-wise, what would you do different?
Ooh, let's see. If I could change something, I guess I would. There was a point where I got too comfortable, and it took me falling in love with my wife to get me motivated again. I guess I would have taken those signals a little sooner and got my butt in gear a little bit faster. This was around the 4 year mark. And I was just liking how everything was going. I was liking being able to pay the bills, and I was liking being able to do that. But I stopped, right? The money stopped getting more. The profit stopped getting more because I was just doing what I needed to do. But then when I saw my wife, I wanted to get her the finer things in life. And that's what kind of drove me to do more. So she was a big catalyst in everything. A good example was we were moving from one space to another, and I didn't have the money to do it. And I wanted to sign that lease. We had the LOI ready. We were negotiating. And my wife told me, okay, here's what you need to do. You need to go out and make $1,500. Okay, $1,500, like not a big deal, right? And you need to make it quickly. It's like, okay. I go out, I do it in one day, right? And then she goes, okay, now you need extra money in the bank. You need to go out and make $2,000. Okay. And so I go out and I do it again in another day. And I really only did it because she was there, because I loved her very much. I wanted this to work. And so I guess I'm very grateful to have her, but I wish I would have had that motivation myself, before something else came into my life.
Gotcha.
Because I stagnated it wasn't just like a couple months. It was a good while. It was maybe a year. And a year means a lot. You lose a year, you lose a lot. So,
well, I think that's easy to fall into that trap because the first few years of business, you are just surviving, keeping your head above water. You're barely paying the bills if you're paying the bills,
right?
And then you get to that place
if you're paying the bills. You're right. No, you're totally right. Yeah.
But then you get to a place where you're finally comfortable. You can pay the bills, and you don't have to worry about the money at the end of the month. But if you haven't really solidified where your business is going, why you're doing this. I think that's the biggest thing. Why are you in business, and why do you need to achieve these things that you've set yourself to do?
Right.
Because if just get the bills paid is your only why, eventually you're going to probably be able to pay the bills,
right? And
then it'll stop.
Right. And then what happens when an emergency comes around? What happens when COVID comes around? Because I wouldn't have survived it if I had that mentality during COVID.
Well, speaking of COVID, how did you pivot during COVID?
Well, I'm a little nuts. I was watching the news and I was like, this thing is going on in China. And then this thing is going on in Italy. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's probably already here. So I better get my act together. So I got all the virtual equipment I could in, December is when we really saw it hitting in China, right? When did we start seeing it in Spain? It was like in February, I think.
Yeah,
right. And so each country, it was like nothing, boom, nothing, nothing, boom, nothing, boom. And so I said, okay, I got to get ready. And luckily we had money in the bank, which was good. And I got all the virtual equipment I could to do Zoom. Mm-hmm. And everybody understood it. And we lost a good chunk of people. But for the most part, everybody was pretty set on the vision, and they stayed with me, and we made it through. And, things are better than ever now because we managed it. So that's kind of how we did it. But I tried to get ahead of it, which is a big part about business. You got to get ahead of the problem.
Yeah. And you teach mostly kids, right? Not so much adults?
Yeah. We have mixed, but it's mostly children. Yeah. And I love it.
Let's talk about goal setting is important. So your process that you have for kids. Mm-hmm. So let's go through that real quick.
Yeah. So the main thing is you have to get a united vision in the school. You can't have a vision where everybody's on a different page. You got to have a united, settled vision in the school. What's the vision? To get your black belt. Okay. Why? Because I know through this process, you're going to learn the tools to really goal set and go out and get what you need to get, and you're going to be able to defend yourself, and you're going to have discipline, and you're going to be able to do a lot of things that they don't teach nowadays. They don't. Unfortunately, we live in a time where they don't teach kids to have a vision. And also, they kind of expect kids to figure it out. Well, me trying to figure it out on my own didn't help very much. I needed guidance, right? And kids need guidance today. And so we really start them off. We start with that in mind. Then what we do is we give them assignments and we give them different things to do. Like we draw pictures of them being black belts. We also have them write things out. And lately we added a questionnaire for our higher ups on not just what do they want to do with the school, but what do they want to be? What kind of qualities do they admire in other people? What kind of qualities do they want for themselves? Why do they want them? And we start talking about that when they get to a certain age. And if they're younger, I have the parents do it with them.
And I know in the pre-show we talked, because I come from a martial arts background. I did it for years.
Yeah.
And we always saw around the age of 12, kids would start to become teenagers. They'd get less interested. Have you seen a difference since implementing that vision-focused program in amount of drop-offs as kids get older?
I feel that I have. I don't have any solid numbers, though. But honestly, a lot of them stay. And I think it's because of our culture. We have a very good culture of like good positivity, and we give them that vision early. And so we've had many of them who, of course, when kids get to 12, they become more prone to negative emotion. This is very commonly known. You have an angsty teenager, right? Everybody knows the angsty teenager. Well, the thing is that that's when there's a certain spirit of consciousness emerging in the kids. They're becoming more aware of their surroundings. They're becoming more adult in physical and mental, right? So what you got to do is you got to aim that. And that's the main thing, because if you don't aim it, it's going to try to latch on whatever it thinks is the path in the moment. And so you got to really find a way to aim that. And if you just leave it to its own devices, that's when people want to quit because they don't feel good. That's when people want to go off and try 10 different things to try to find what they latch onto. And you've got to really find a way to aim that. So the way that we do it is by saying, okay, well, what do you want to do? Well, I don't know. Okay. What do you think is best for you now? Okay. Well, I want to feel good. Okay, great. How do you feel good? And then we start breaking it down and we start going through it. And I've had talks like that with a bunch of people. What can we do? Because we don't want them to lose all they've earned just because they're coming to this path. So we give them, always from the beginning, we have the black belt vision. And if the family is on board, we can do that. 100%.
Well, let's talk about, so there's an example you gave, like the results of goal setting.
Yeah. As
we wrap up your segment, let's get into that. So the results of goal setting, the positives that come out of it.
Yeah.
We talked about a boy with emotional battles.
Oh, yeah.
Or boys struggle with emotional battles, right?
Big time.
So do you have an example situation you can talk about?
Yeah, sure. So the one that you're referring to, very good kid, really sweet, just very, very, very nice and wanting to do the right thing, but just having a lot of trouble because he was very emotional. Any little thing would kind of, set him off, right? And when he would set off, he would shut down. He didn't want to talk to you. He didn't want to know you, right? If you did something. Now, first of all, with me, I've run into that a lot. You got to tread very lightly with kids like that because they're probably they're very self-conscious and they're probably more, they're probably more neurotic than the average kids. So they're very prone to negativity. So if you show negativity, then they're going to pick it up and they're not going to believe you, right? So first of all, I'm always very honest with them. And then the next thing that happened was they started up and, his mom and his dad, mostly his mom would just say, we've tried so much and he just is having so much trouble in public. He's not making friends. He's running. He's going into the corner when we're at public events because he doesn't want to talk to anybody. And I'm like, okay. And so I started working with him. I got to know him. And over the years, it's been really good. It's been really great. And he's now going for a 2nd-degree black belt now. I've known him now for 5 years. And he's completely changed. He wants to teach. He's one of our instructors. He's assisting one of our assistant instructors. And when we tell him like, oh, ease up, he's like, yes, sir. Or when he does something that he's not supposed to, he feels genuinely bad. And he's able to have a conversation about it and figure it out. And so that's an amazing change. That changes the trajectory of his life. Because think about it, if he kept going down with negativity, it compounds. And so this turned him around, and I got a very, very lovely testimonial from his mother where she was in tears. And honestly, it's just one of those things where it's like, we just wanted him to do better. Yeah. We listened to him and we talked to him and we told him, okay, do this. And he just needed the guidance.
Well, I think our goal as parents is generally to raise happy and successful people,
right.
Whatever successful means to them. And imagine them learning these tools as teenagers instead of self-discovering these tools in their 20s.
Yeah.
And then how much further they were going to be along than all of us who had to learn it in our 20s and 30s, right?
Yeah.
So if a parent wants to get a hold of you and put their kids in martial arts, how can they do that?
Oh, well, we are at Stone Oak Parkway, Studio Martial Arts. We're at 19141 Stone Oak Parkway, right next to the Kids Space and the Trilogy Pizza. And they can look on our Facebook page, our Studio Martial Arts Facebook page, and they can go to our website, which is www.studiomartialartssa.com. And they can come and check out our classes.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'll have to
Thanks,
do
Ram.
that.
No, thank you.
Great job, brother.
Appreciate it.
Now, how many podcasts have you done?
3, I think.
3?
Yeah. 2. One of them was on business. The other one was on martial arts itself. And I don't think I did too good on that one because he wanted me to talk about the specific martial art. And I was like, oh, well, I really love it and it's great. And but then I started talking about like the leadership aspect. And he goes, so tell me about Wing Chun. And I'm like, oh, well, it's a wonderful martial art. And then, we really try to implement it in leadership. Oh, great. So tell me more about Wing Chun. I'm like, okay, I'm doing something wrong here. I'm not doing the good job here. But that was a fun one. Yeah.
So he's looking for that sound.
Yeah, exactly.